Tell me, what were you doing in 2004? I can say for certain I wasn't doing much considering I was 3 years old. As for the rest of the world, though, well, besides a number of tragedies I will acknowledge but not mention, NASA landed Opportunity and Spirit on Mars during the month of January, while Zuckerberg was launching Facebook in early February. And the Olympics were held in Athens. How cool. But what was the emerging media culture stirring up during this, what seemed to be, quiet year? Knock knock, motherfucker. It's goddamn Shrek 2, Spider-Man 2, The Incredibles, and SpongeBob movie. I was hardly old enough when these came out to really comprehend what I was seeing, but it didn't matter. These movies were all so culturally significant, especially to a kid growing up in the 2000s. You probably didn't just see these movies only once.
Pizza time.
I know I saw the SpongeBob movie at least 10 times, and teachers would not stop showing Shrek 2 and The Incredibles. But I'm not here to talk about movies, am I? 2004 produced some of my favorite games of all time, not to mention so many of them were as significant as the movies I mentioned earlier. It was a time where 3D graphics were finally getting there and companies had passion for the games they created. I'm splitting these games up into 3 categories, representing the impact they had on me. First set of games are ones that spawned later titles that I've enjoyed greatly. Second set are games that I've personally enjoyed but may not have been as culturally significant. The last set are the GOATs, games that really fuck. GTRF. I was a latecomer to the games in the first category, only experiencing the series with their newer titles. I have not touched GTA, San Andreas, and I'm not the biggest fan of GTA in all honesty. But I cannot deny how great the series is. And when people talk about their love of GTA, San Andreas is always a highlight for them. I also can't deny how great the memes are. I can tell Big Smoke is a great character that adds a lot to the game just from the memes. I jumped on the series, as I'm sure a lot of us did, during GTA 4, where I remember running over hot dog stand guys and seeing a guy hold on to the side of your car for dear life was the funniest shit to me. And of course, we've all played GTA 5, even if we are a tad bit sick of it now. Far Cry. The last game on this list that I've never played and I probably never will. I heard it's actually notoriously difficult. People shoot you through walls and shit, like Dark Souls with guns. But its bigger brother Far Cry 3 was the game that solidified myself as a PC gamer. The game ran so bad on my PC that I decided to buy a new graphics card for it. My first GPU. It was a GTX 660, ran the game at about 50 FPS, which was like me looking at 100 now. How marvelous. I've kept up with the Far Cry series to this day, though it has been declining in quality for more than a while now. These next games I have played and enjoyed. They may not have stuck around too much in my life, but they deserve to be on the list nonetheless. World of Warcraft is interesting. My experiences with it are far and few between, being that it was a subscription game and my little ass could not afford that shit. My brother had it, by what means I was not sure, so I could only play when he was logged in for me, and it was hard to find time where that actually worked out. I did play it in my later years, but those games require just too much commitment. However, unlike most games on this list, this one is still completely active. Not only did the SpongeBob movie come out in 2004, so did the accompanying game. I may have seen the film 10 times, but I have not beaten the game once.
Why are we still here? My leg! Just to suffer. My leg! Every night. My leg! I can feel my leg. My leg!
There was this certain part with sludge and crap that I kept getting stuck on, and then there are these Mario Sunshine type 3D platforming levels, which were just hell in both games. I later revisited the game after I picked up a PlayStation 3, a Japanese PlayStation, of all things. It was super large, and since it was Japanese, the O and X buttons were switched. This was because of cultural differences, where X, Batsu, means wrong. Sims 2 is a Sims game. Not much to say. I know I've booted this game up once or twice, but I remember playing Sims 1 for the original Xbox way more.
Retro.
Star Wars Battlefront is so badass. It really speaks for itself. This game had everything for a Star Wars fan. Though the first game lacked most of the features we loved about Battlefront today, it only took a year for Battlefront 2 to come out, effectively finishing what they started. I mean, these were fully comprehensive titles. If you wanted a Star Wars sandbox game, you played Battlefront. I've played all of the Battlefronts, and besides EA's first attempt, they're all great. Mario Party 6 is the last game in this category. I should mention that the first time I remember playing this game was probably in 2018, streamed via Parsec. Then again, using my Wii. We only played 6 because that's the one I happened to own. I had no idea it was made in 2004 or that I even owned it up until 2018. This brings us to the last category of 2004 games, the GOATs. These games made up a large portion of my childhood, shaping me for better or for worse. Fable, my first RPG. I've started so many characters in this game you have no idea. Probably gigabytes of save files. The game gave me a sense of freedom no other title gave me at the time. It was like playing WoW, but I didn't have to log in. The game was ahead of its time, and it sucks that Lionhead was unable to keep their momentum going, as every Fable game is worse than the last. The first one, though, is special. Half-Life 2 was one of the only games my crap top could run, so yeah, I logged hours on this bitch, through many Steam accounts, some mine, some not. It was such a smooth first-person shooter, with great enemy variety, story, and setting. The game, really to me, it was too perfect. And as a result, we probably will never get a true sequel. Halo 2 is one of the biggest releases on this list. Like, this game was on TV. I bet Jimmy Fallon even had Halo 2 on as a guest.
I need a weapon.
While Halo CE was the first game I ever played, Halo 2 was the first game I understood. Combat Evolved had me looking at pretty colors and listening to the screams of elites and quips of Marines. Halo 2 is when I started to understand why I was looking at these colors and why the elites were screaming. In other words, I decided to actually understand the story, which Halo 2 has a great one. I'm going to end my Halo 2 section with a story. It encapsulates how much this game really means to me. My father won 2 tickets to a Metallica concert, so he and I went. I was experimenting with my music tastes at the time, mainly with metal and older rock, and I found a band called Avenged Sevenfold, which still is my favorite metal band to this day. Avenged Sevenfold was opening for this Metallica concert, so this is 2 bands I really like, and it was a great concert. So I decided I wanted to go to an Avenged Sevenfold concert next time. So I got tickets for my birthday and I went with my buddy. But Breaking Benjamin was opening for Avenged Sevenfold. And when they played Blow Me Away from the Halo 2 soundtrack live, there was literal tears in my eyes. I would kill myself at the end of the mission that played Blow Me Away just so I could hear it again. I had no idea they were the band that made the song, and I will never forget that experience. It really showed how much the game really means to me. 2004 is my favorite year for games. So many bangers came out during this time, and I'm so glad they did. Though I was not able to play these on release because I was a small child, they were still the games that I had when I got old enough. So check out the list of games from 2004 and comment if I missed any notable ones. The ones I talked about today were just relevant to me, but I know there's a ton of other games that came out in 2004 that probably influenced other people in a similarly good way.